Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Good Sunday morning to you all. Hope you guys are feeling well this morning and having a great start to your day. And have had a great weekend out there so far as we wrap it up. About to head into another work week. I'm going to give you an update on what is likely going to occur with the weather for your Sunday. Pretty nice day expected for most, but we're going to talk about a couple areas that could see some wet weather, and of course southern areas of Texas dealing with some tropical moisture this morning as of right now. But other than that, besides the monsoon season ongoing in portions of the Rockies, the Southwest, which, this happens almost every single year, but it's definitely been kicked into high gear out there, a little bit more so this season. So they're expecting a lot of heavy rains in certain areas of the Rockies and the Southwest. But other than that, for the central and eastern U.S., pretty chill and quiet Sunday. In fact, a really nice day ahead. So if you guys have not subscribed, always consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. It helps to get the videos out there. And more importantly, on this Sunday morning, if you guys got anything that I can pray about, pray over, please put in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it. It gives others an opportunity to do so too. I recommend praying for the schools, praying for the children, the teachers, the safety of everybody. Just a good school year. With these school shootings that seem to happen almost every year now, it's always a scary thing, especially with parents with kids. So definitely put the schools, the teachers, the children in your prayers, especially over the next few days. If you haven't already, a lot of kids are already back to school. A lot of them start this week, maybe the week after. But, just want to throw that out there for you guys. That's definitely weighing heavy on my mind this morning for sure. So let's get rolling. Water vapor loop, tall upper ridge going over portions of the western and the central U.S. This kind of goes up and stays up and then goes back down, and pieces of energy love to fly around the upper ridge of this, upper ridge. So you got some showers ongoing in the Ohio Valley, more showers and maybe some storms. Rumble of thunder will form in the Ohio Valley today, so not expecting as nice of a day for these areas, but it'll still be relatively cool, and a cloud cover and rain cooled air will keep your temperatures down today. But this will eventually make its way all the way into portions of Virginia, North Carolina a little bit later this evening. So still a nice day-to-day dry air will continue to be entrenched all the way into the Carolinas, maybe as far southwest as Georgia. But you start to lose that air mass as you get later in the day today, and then by the time we get into tomorrow, we don't have it. But check out this little blob. This is actually trapped under the upper ridge, so there's weak winds aloft, meaning there's a lack of a steering current, meaning this is moving really kind of pretty slow. That's why I was mentioning last night. If this was anywhere else in the Gulf of Mexico, would have probably had time to form in a tropical storm Danielle, but it just ran out of time. Ran out of real estate. Real estate meaning water in this case, not land. But this is delivering a lot of rains to South Texas right now. Storm Prediction Center, about the only area you watch out for, as this marginal risk right here in areas in the northern plains and the central U.S. and the Rockies. General risk of thunderstorms in this area just due to a piece of energy that's going to move through. There will be a severe weather threat tomorrow across the Carolinas and Georgia and the Southeast in general. We'll talk about that a little bit maybe tonight into tomorrow morning. But then just a general risk of storms across the far Gulf Coast and areas like that. Excessive rainfall outlook. You watch for the Rockies today, where just areas of rains continue, especially when this upper ridge forms. You basically have a boundary where these storm systems ride along and just provides ample amount of rain in this area. And then you got an area of a slight risk that's at least, when you had the yellow on this map, at least a 15% chance of a flash flood guidance being met. And this is really due to these tropical rains down here from 98 invest down here. So maybe a little flooding risk in areas of West Virginia, Virginia today, Florida, but not too big of a deal there. Watches and warnings, you got the flood watches up for these areas, but other than that, it's pretty quiet. Not a whole lot going on. Let's take a look at what's going on with Invest 90L, 98L. It's still an invest that never quite officially made it to tropical depression status or anything, but a pretty impressive anticyclonic outflow ongoing, which means these tropical systems, they circulate like this, right? But when you have an anticyclonic flow aloft, they're circulating like this aloft, meaning above the system. This is creating a nice outflow. This causes rising air. So it pretty much means you have some robust convection. So basically this system is taking full advantage of something we call diurnal maximum, which occurs in the morning when the sun is coming up. So you're having an area, and models pretty much showed this pretty well, of robust convection and storms firing up this morning. In fact, you look at the radar right here. This looks a lot different than what I showed last night. If you watched the evening video last night, a lot of heavy rain. You can see a little bit of a circulation right into here. This is only, I think, in like a 30-minute interval right here. Heck, not even that, about a 15 to 20-minute video. I need to adjust the settings to make this in an hour interval. But anyways, a lot of heavy rain. Corpus Christi, points south. A lot of heavy rain will fall today. Some of these showers will make it a little far north, maybe San Antonio, but most of the heavy rain will be confined to this area right here. So let's take a look at the southeast. Pretty nice conditions. I love this site, but I really wish they could tweak it a little bit where more weather stations show up. But every little dot here you see with a temperature by it, that is actually somebody's actual weather station. So it's pretty interesting. This is ambient weather. I don't know if anybody's ever been interested in buying a weather station, but I definitely recommend ambient weather. It's kind of in that mid-range price range where you're still going to get an accurate weather station, but it's not going to be an insane amount of money. You can find them for $150, $200. I have a weather station on the top of my roof, so I actually have readings on here. But anyways, some low 60s, upper 50s entrenched into the Carolinas. So this is actually the coolest morning since around June 21st, June 22nd for this region. So there is a hint of fall out there this morning as you're waking up in the areas of the Carolinas and even into Tennessee, where there's pockets of drier air allowing for temperatures to dip. For example, in and around Nashville, dipping down to the low 60s. Let's take a look at what could happen weather-wise for today. Pretty quiet, but then we'll watch a little bit later on. Of course, you're going to have the tropical rains that form in Florida, where you just have afternoon, evening pop-up showers and storms. That just does this any time of the year. Not any time, but definitely in the summer into early fall. But then you'll watch right into here. You're just, not really big-time storms, just scattered, widespread scattered showers. Maybe some storms working its way out the Ohio Valley into areas in the Mid-Atlantic. The Mid-South, especially eastern Kentucky, so watch out. I don't think y'all get a whole lot of rain that's going to cause any issues, but this will eventually drift into areas of North Carolina later this evening. So, Boone, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, maybe even down to Charlotte. By the time you're starting to reach the midnight time frame, maybe some showers start to kind of leak into the area. Temperatures today, a little bit warmer than yesterday, a little bit cooler up here just because you're going to have rain-cooled air. But you're starting to warm up. Alabama, Mississippi, points west, starting to get back into the low to mid 90s. Still nice, maybe around average, a slightly below average in the Carolinas, but you're starting to get close to 90. It only hit 87 degrees at my house yesterday, which I'll take that all day, every day in mid-August. Dry air, so it was pretty nice. But it's definitely starting to warm up. You just lose the flow. You don't, in mid-August, when you get these cold fronts, it doesn't hang around. Please don't think that summer is over. We're getting close to the end of summer, but if you live in the southeast, you should know that we have many, many more days probably of 90-degree plus temperatures, 90-degree plus days ahead. Now, I'm not talking about maybe 30 or 40 or anything like that, but, depending on where you are, you know that in September, it can get well into the 90s. Heck, even in October, you can get into the 90s. So it's just how it is here in the South. But the further north you work, the more you're starting to really and truly break the back of summer. And I think the worst is over even for the South, but you get what I'm saying. Rain's definitely going to be moving through Ohio, Indiana, maybe even southern Michigan earlier today. Earlier in the day, but it becomes much more widespread this afternoon. So definitely a rainy Sunday afternoon, and where it's not raining, there'll be clouds for Ohio, West Virginia, the eastern half of Kentucky, starting to move into northern VA, heck, even around Pittsburgh, the areas of southwest Pennsylvania. Definitely kind of just a rainy on and off shower kind of day, especially as you get into the afternoon hours. And because of that, you're going to have some cooler air, maybe temperatures only in the 70s, maybe even just upper 60s for certain areas. But once you get out the influence of the clouds and the rain, warms up pretty nicely into the 70s and 80s. And you're still going to hang on to some pretty low humidity, not substantially dry air, but a nice day if you're not affected by the rains in the Northeast. Pretty nice day expected. The South Central U.S., really the only weather maker is down here in South Texas, where you're going to have that spin, tropical moisture. But as soon as you get into South Central Texas, it'll be hotter than Hades, and it's like there's nothing even going on. This area of tropical moisture is only affecting far southern areas of Texas. You kind of wish this would have worked its way a little bit further north and gotten into more central Texas, but it's just not going to do that. But this will eventually work its way into Mexico and will not be a big deal. But you can see a lot of rains out here in Texas. The Rockies, creating a big flooding risk for sure. A very hot day. South Central U.S. It's going to be a hot week for most of these areas, but below average temperatures actually forecasted for this area as we get later in the forecast area. And I think you're going to lose these hundreds and upper 90s. But hot day today, hot day for the entire state of Oklahoma. Pretty hot for Arkansas, Louisiana, definitely Texas, unless you're in far south Texas where rain-cooled air will prevail. And then southern Missouri. There'll be a boundary in Missouri where the northern half of Missouri will be nice. The southern half of Missouri will be pretty hot. Kansas, very hot, where multiple areas can get well over 100 degrees. Moving forward here, the north central U.S., not a whole lot going on. Some showers. Like I said, some storms may be possible in Indiana, Ohio. And then maybe some showers making its way through South Dakota into Iowa a little bit later today. Maybe a shower or two in the UP and Michigan. And then areas of northern Minnesota, especially northeast Minnesota. But other than that, pretty quiet. And temperatures as far as highs today, I think some clouds will keep you guys cool in these areas. Chicago, a cooler day, maybe only in the 70s for highs, maybe just 60s, just outside of town. Further south and southwest and west you get, the warmer it gets. But, pretty nice day. It really is. So nothing crazy going on out there, guys. I might or might not have a video tonight. It really just depends on what models do today. But it's hard to just make a video based off what one day worth of models do. It's not like, it doesn't never seems responsible to me just because you see a couple crazy runs. You want to get on here and make a video about it. But then you get to the next day and those crazy runs aren't consistent and just aren't there anymore. So it just continues to be slow. Right smack in just about in the middle of the month now. And I don't see anything in the tropics. Nothing has changed overnight. I look at everything in the mornings and in the evenings and just remains very quiet. So let's just enjoy the quiet weather as we roll on through the year. God bless all y'all. Have a great Sunday. And I'll talk to you when I talk to you again.